Hi, I'm Ron,
And I'm Phil.
and we're from Final Games. This is the official rules video for Takeover Ladder Climbing Tactics. Let's jump into the full rules, starting with the setup. To set up, give each player both reference cards and one flex card. Return the rest of these to the box. For 2 players, remove all the 11s, 12s, and 13s. Shuffle the deck and deal cards to each player based on how many are playing. For 4 to 3 players, deal out 12. For 2 players, deal out 13 to each player. Form a draw deck from the undealt cards. Draw and add 1 card to the right of the deck until there are 4 columns. If a card has the same number as a previously placed card, stack it onto that card, like we see here with the 11. And then here, now we have a completed 4 columns, which make the Undercity. Shuffle the 3 Defect cards into the deck. Then place the City card above the deck and the Advantage right next to it. To determine who goes first, players secretly select, then simultaneously reveal 1 non-flex card from hand. The player with the highest number goes first. In this case, we see 2 10s, but this is a higher suit, which you can see on the reference card, which means this player is going to get to go first. So we'll take these 3 cards and actually stack them and place them in any order underneath the deck.
And that's the setup. From here, each player starting with the first player going clockwise will take 1 action per turn, completing start and end of action steps if necessary, with the goal of getting rid of your cards before all other players. The 3 actions are buy, deploy, and plan. Before taking any of these actions, complete start of action steps if necessary, which we'll discuss in a moment. But first, let's jump into the actions in more detail.
The Vi action is primarily how you'll play cards in special combinations we call formations to the City row, the game's shared play area, which is distinct from the Undercity. Before we explain Vi, let's go over the 5 formation types. Solo, any single card. Pack, 3 to 6 cards with matching numbers. Lineup, 4 cards in a sequence in any mix of suits that don't match. Squad, 4 to 5 cards of the same suit in sequence. And Showstopper, a pair of 2, 3, 4, or 10, 11, 12. One sequence must be in gray and the other all in one suit. Showstopper breaks the must follow rule and surpasses any of the 4 formations, and a lower showstopper.
So when you Vi, you'll play one of these formations into the City row depending on 2 conditions. If there's no active formation in the City row, you can play any formation. Here we have nothing in the City row, so I'm going to play a 6. In order for the next player to surpass this formation, they'd have to play a stronger solo. So let's say the next player plays a 10, and so now that has been surpassed. So we flip over the previous formation. Now the active formation is a 10. Well, let's say we have a pack instead as the active formation. Same rules apply. You'll have to surpass it with a stronger pack. So 3 8s, flip these over, and now these 3 8s, this pack would be the active formation. For a formation to be considered stronger, it must be of the same type as the formation it's playing against and either have more cards, or if tied for the number of cards, have the highest ranked non-flex cards. Remember that suit rank breaks number ties. What if the active formation is one that you played on your previous turn? During the start of action step, you would actually surpass your own formation before taking any action. So if you decide to buy, you can play any formation. So what if you can't or don't want to play any cards on your turn? That takes us to the next 2 actions. You can deploy or plan. To deploy, discard a specialist card, the 1, 7, 13s, and flexes, and use its text effect. You cannot take this action if you only have 1 card in hand, and specialist effects only trigger during deploy and if all the text can be completed. So for example, let's say on my turn I deployed this corrupt card, I would discard it here, and then I would complete its text effects, which in this case would have us discard everything in the City row and then call a formation. Here's what each specialist does. Course has you discard 1 card from hand to the top of the column in the Undercity. Yes, you can use this to go out with 2 cards. Corrupt, as we previously saw, lets you discard all cards in the city row, then call solo, pack, or lineup. The next play formation must be that type. Overtake lets you take the advantage, which you can cash in at the start of a new round to go first. Pack lets you pick an action, including which plan, for a player to take on their next turn. If unable, they can take any action. Seize lets you make the active formation yours. So that does let you take ownership of another player's formation. And Flex lets you overthrow, which allows you to surpass the active formation and take the advantage. You might set up your rival since you don't get to play right away, but you're getting the advantage in return. And as a reminder, Flex can also be used as a wild card in any formation. The advantage is not a specialist card, but you might be wondering what it does. Whenever you get it, you are able to cash it in at the beginning of a new round in order to go first. The third and final action is Plan, which lets you improve your hand or play cards from the Undercity. Plan always starts the same way. Draw and place 1 to 3 cards, one at a time. You place each card on top of any column. In this case, we're drawing 3, but we do not have to draw 3. We could have just drawn 1. If you draw a defect, which you'll see in a second, you'll complete the text that's on there. Then choose Plan A or B. If you choose Plan A, use 1 card from 1 of 4 columns and any number of cards from hand to vie as normal, but with the column restriction, which we'll explain right now. So let's say I have a 5 in hand. That does work well with what's in the Undercity because there are some 5s here. The active formation is a pack of 4s. So in order to beat this, we're going to have to play a stronger pack. And so we can take the 5 that we have in hand and combine it with the 5s that we see in the Undercity. And we can take 1 5 from each column and place them here to surpass this pack of 4s. And because each of these 5s were in a different column, we're able to take every single one of them. If they were just in a single column, we would only be able to take 1 of them. So, but in our case, we did get all of them, and so we're able to surpass this 4-pack. If you choose Plan B instead, you'll swap cards from hand with the same number of cards in 1 Undercity column, or take the top card of a column. So let's say in this case, we wanted this 8 and 13. We could swap this 10 and this 6, the same number of cards, and take these cards and put them in my hand. Or my other option is actually to take the top card of a single column. And so this 13 is pretty powerful. So I am just going to take that and use that as my Plan B action instead. If you draw a defect during plan, you'll complete the text on the card there, which will force you to swap a specialist from hand with a non-specialist card in the Undercity. So for example, I have this Coerce card, and I will take this 11 in exchange for the 7, because that is the specialist that I have in my hand. And this also includes flex cards. So if I had a flex only in my hand, I would have to put that in the Undercity instead. But let's say I don't have a specialist, then I would take the highest card in my hand and place that in the Undercity and take a non-specialist in exchange. And then once you're done doing that swap, you'll continue the plan as normal, discarding the defect card. Once you've completed any of these actions, make sure to complete end of action steps if necessary. So discard any Undercity columns with more than 4 cards, like this one that we have here, and then refill any empty columns with 1 card from the deck.
So to recap, going clockwise, each player will take 1 action per turn, completing start and end of action steps as necessary.
Once a player wins a round, whether it's the 4th formation or playing the 5th formation, we discard all the cards in the city row, and the player who won the round starts the new round. The game ends immediately when a player plays all their cards. That player takes over the city and wins the game.
And that's the full comprehensive rules for playing Takeover with 2 to 4 players, and even the team variant, partnership mode. This mode lets 4 players familiar with the base game compete in teams of 2. The core rules are the same, with just these 4 changes.
In partnership mode, you can find it at the bottom of the rulebook here, and during setup, you'll use the partnership flexes. Players should also sit directly across from their partner, so rivals are always to their left and right. After the deal, each player must pick one teammate to pass 1 to 4 cards face down to their partner. After the receiving player looks at those cards, they must then pass back the same number of cards before taking the cards their partner gave them. During play, players cannot discuss cards in hand or actions, but can discuss the open information like number of cards left in hand. To win, both players on a team must get rid of all their cards before the rival team.
And with that, you have everything you need to play Takeover. If you have any rules questions, please leave them in the comments. Thank you for playing, and stay winning.